masculine pose. Coming at you real quick on this one. The rejection muscle. The rejection muscle. A lot of men, even in their older years, have not developed the rejection muscle. I'm not talking about where back in the day you was in a club, but you give a girl a number and she rejects you and you can take it on the chin. But I'm talking about when you are on the up, when you got something going on for you, when you got some resources, and the girl that never gave you a chance comes at you. That's why even you find that guys will screw and know an attractive woman because his sexual discipline is not quite there because the woman puts enough pressure. Women talk about, oh, a man must put pressure on her for her to accept, but oftentimes when women put pressure on a man, even if the girl is not the type of woman the man should be getting with, most men have not mastered the rejection muscle to just say no. Even worse, when she's very attractive, you could be very, very versed knowing that that woman is a demon. You can see it. You've seen her history patterns. You've seen the guys she's been with. But because she's a baddie in your mind, and because you're desperately trying to have a turn, forgetting that whenever you're interacting with, especially on a sexual level, you're collecting some of that residue to some extent, that energy. The rejection muscle is very important, especially because what happens, naturally what happens in the early stages of your life as a man, you're not going to get the type of play that you would get if you didn't, like if you have a nice car, you have a nice home, you're traveling, you're visible now. In the early stages, you're a nobody. You're just a man going to campus. You're just a man going to trade school. You're just a man on the ground with a failed project, maybe two, three failed projects that didn't do so well for you. That's all you are. And women tend to gravitate towards excitement, like bees gravitate towards pollen, you know, moths to the light. So oftentimes, and women tend to do a better job at rejecting men than men do at rejecting women. Because a woman will say, nah, he's too short. I don't like him. He don't got the right kind of money. But he's fine. I'm going to give him a pass. But men, they could say, nah, she's not my type. She's whatever. You know what the heck? Let me get it in. The rejection muscle is very important. Why is it important? Because it's part of your success. You cannot build legacy if you don't have the sexual discipline and rejecting the women that you know are not good for you. So you got to get that practice in. She comes at you, she's attractive, but you know she's toxic. So you say no. Not like, oh, first let me hit it. No, you just reject. Because some women are strategic. So you say no. That saves you potentially accidental pregnancies, accidental, and you fall in love. Some men, they hit it once, they get whooped. They get coochie whipped. And they caught up now. Like the Usher song. I'm so caught up, you know. So you gotta get that rejection muscle. In the same way, good students master the art of sitting there and reading, mastering a craft. You gotta study. If you have not mastered the art of saying no to women that are attractive on paper to you, that you are aroused by, but you say no because you can see the red light, the more you do that, the more you build up that capacity to say no. Because now you're training your brain to filter for character rather than just beauty. You excuse, look, I see you're beautiful. Yes, your booty is banging, but no, because you did this to your ex and I saw that, and so forth. And I've seen the kind of person you are. You move around, you're a loose woman. Your body count is unknown. So when men start to build the strength, the capacity to resist, then women will play appropriately because it means that there's consequences to their behavior. But a lot of men do not have the capacity to resist and say no, even if they're in a better position than the woman. The man could have the mansion, the house. He'll bring in some ratchet creature that unschooled, she does not have any decorum, but he will accommodate that and put himself in a position where she could take advantage of him because he did not get that strength. You gotta get that in, just like in the boxing match. They say toe to toe. You gotta get those jabs in. You gotta get the hooks in. So part of your jabs and your hooks is to say no to women that look good on paper, that resistance strength, resistance muscle. This message is for the few, you know, because all of us, when the girl that we've been chasing for a while, let's say she ghosted you 5 years later, let's say things are not going, because girls don't come back because they miss you. Oftentimes because they remember, hey, he was really kind to me. He was a good man. I just let go. You know what? I'm thinking of him now after I've been abused. And you're like, oh, you participate. You're allowing something that you shouldn't allow. So what you really should be doing, figuratively, is slam the door. No, thank you. I was rejected. I'm not saying, I said figuratively. You slam the door, bang, and get back into your, even if you don't got nobody going on in your life. Because Satan knows how to send those type of women, especially when you just maybe broke up with somebody, when you're vulnerable and so forth. But you gotta get that muscle. Say no. No, not just because your urges are kicking in. Say no. That's very important. When you get that strength, that resilience to say, no, yes, I feel what I feel, but I'm saying no, that's going to teach your mind to let go of the visual elements of the female and look at her character and her history chart. And when you start to pick based on that, you have a better opportunity to pick a better quality woman. A lot of men end up with poor quality women because she just shows up with her sensuality, her body, and you're taken and you're gone because you never built the strength to say, nah, 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 nah. I know you're fine, yes, but no, I'm good. And this is the absence of a normal relationship. Like you may have nothing going on in your love life department. You ought to be able to say no. And when you're able to do that, it's not even for the female's sake, it's for your sake. Especially when you're working on a business, whatever it is that you're working on, you need that self control. You might start to think to yourself, oh, did I make the right decision? What if I could just hit it? No, don't. Peace is greater than these females. For the most part, a lot of them, they're just coming back because they see something good. You're glowing on a hill. You're on a mountaintop glowing. And you don't even see yourself as that. They know women are very attuned to the value of a man more than men are attuned to the true value of a woman. We may speak about women nature and everything else, but for the most part, women are more attuned to men who were good to them. They just rejected them because because the women decided he was not my type. But men are not attuned to true value. That's why a lot of men end up with bad women. Bad in the sense that she looks good, she got hips, she got whatever, but she's an evil person. She's a demon. I said enough. Peace, love, and blessings.